So today I was actually thinking a little bit about TMZ and how they actually haven't really been held accountable for the celebration of Charlie Kirk's death. Now, this has been picked apart by so many people. People have gone in and looked at the timestamps and looked at this and done all these calculations and everything. And I think based on the evidence that we have in regards to this, it's pretty clear that there were people in the background celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. Now, we are going to go back through this. But there was also something else that I picked up on in this first video that we're going to watch that I don't think really anybody else has picked up on yet. So let's get this going. This is the original celebration. I think we can go to about around the 17-second mark.
Conference is scheduled for 3 o'clock in Utah time, which is 2 o'clock Pacific, 5 o'clock Eastern. Janet, go.
Okay, so
go to.
There it is. There's a few people in the background that are cheering. I think that there might be about 4 or 5 of them that are cheering and clapping and everything in the background there. But before we move on to the apology and why I feel like they really do need to be held accountable for this, I just want to share one thing with you really quickly. I'm going to put the link to this video in the description. I want you to get it up on your phone and put it right to your ear. But go to the 17-second mark, and it's at the 22-second mark that you hear what I want you to hear. And it sounds like, and this is me completely speculating, obviously, but it sounds like one of them, yells out, "Charlie Kirk's dead!" And the last one is really high-pitched. That last "dead" is really high-pitched. But then everybody sort of pauses for a second, and then the cheering comes. And my speculation in regards to what's happened there is the person's thrown that out there, cheered that out there, and they've all stopped for a second in a bit of shock and like, really? And then they've looked at the screen and they're talking about it, and we're going to show the car chase that they're talking about. And then they've all started cheering because it's essentially been confirmed. So let's go from the 17-second mark. And at the 22-second mark, so not long in, you'll hear a person go, "Charlie Kirk's dead." And that's what it sounds like. Now, I know that this plays tricks with your mind because I know that there's things out there where you can be reading something and hearing something and you hear what you're reading, and you can read something else and hear the same thing and you're hearing that now. I understand that your mind can play tricks with you, but in the context of what we know in regards to why there is controversy behind this, I think it's pretty clear what we're actually hearing. So here we go.
It's scheduled for 3 o'clock in Utah time, which is 2 o'clock Pacific.
There it is. Did you hear that? Charlie Kirk's dead. And then they all sort of freeze. Let's go back 21 seconds.
In Utah time, which is 2 o'clock Pacific.
Oh man, you play it a couple of times even and just see if that's what am I just tripping here?
3 o'clock in Utah time, which is 2 o'clock Pacific.
There it is. It's hard because he's talking over the top of it as well. But then, like I said, there's a bit of a pause.
5 o'clock Eastern. Janet, go.
And then there's the cheering about 7 seconds later.
Go to...
Okay, so tell me what you think about that. Like I said, I'll put the link to this 22-second mark. Charlie Kirk's dead. And then pause, and then the cheering. All right, so they then did the apology, which came out not long after that because they started getting hit pretty hard for it.
We were live streaming all day during this tragedy when something happened in our office. As we were reporting the assassination of Charlie Kirk, there were some people in the back room away from our news desk here who were watching a car chase, and they were laughing, they were clapping.
Honestly, like even just the premise of what he's saying, no one's ever watched a car chase, I don't think, and really had that much of a euphoric reaction. I just don't think that that's really possible.
And you could hear it out here. And we want to make a couple of things clear.
Now, this is where we need to hold this guy Harvey's words and him accountable for his own words here.
One is
I know these
that
people.
I know these people.
Who cares
And
what you know?
They were not laughing. They were not reacting that way about Charlie Kirk's assassination.
Here we go.
They were not. They would not work here if they did.
They would not work here if they did. And this is something in regards to the whole cancel culture thing that's going on out there right now and the reaction from the left in regards to that. This is company policy sort of thing. Who wants to be working next to somebody that is like homicidal, suicide? Who knows what's going through these people's brains? They're cheering death, assassination, the shock and horror of seeing death with our own eyes, like live. Like this is stuff like this horrors people when they're in wars and stuff like that. People get PTSD from stuff like this. So I don't really want to be working next to people that do that. Do you? So this is where I'm like, I'm not going to let up on TMZ. You said it yourself. If they were cheering, they would not work there. From the horse's mouth.
Laughing. They were not reacting that way about Charlie Kirk's assassination. They were not. They would not work here if they did. And
they would not work here if they did. And it goes on and on.
That being said, we acknowledge that it was horrible timing.
Horrible timing, tragedy. They were watching a car chase. We're really sorry. It wasn't intended to sound like Charlie Kirk, blah, blah, blah. Now, if you haven't seen the car chase, listen to what those people in the back were watching and listening to. Specifically, listening to.
We're showing you right there on the banner below. You can see it started in Temple City, and we saw that. Go ahead, Philip.
Well, I wanted to let you know that President Trump has said Charlie Kirk has died. So that is the breaking news that we are likely.
Okay, so think about my scenario for a second there, my speculation in regards to what I'm hearing and what I'm thinking. She's heard that announcement. They're watching this car chase and she hears this bit, that first lady
has said Charlie Kirk has died.
And she goes, Charlie Kirk's dead. Everybody else is in shock watching this, listening to the rest of this.
So that is the breaking news that we are likely about to have with ABC News. He was shot in Utah.
So about that, and it's about that same 7-second range too. I know this is full-on investigation, deep dive bullshit stuff, right? But like I said, they haven't come and said anything. They haven't responded to like now this extra stuff that's, you know, basically being, nobody believed their apology. Nobody. And you said it yourself, if they were cheering death and celebrating death, they wouldn't work there.
They were not reacting that way about Charlie Kirk's assassination. They were not. They would not work here if they did. And that being said,
they would not work here if they did. So I'm holding you to that. I think they did. And until yes, it is innocent until proven guilty. But based on the evidence that I have, it is pointing towards guilty. And now it's up to you to prove me wrong. It really is. It's up to them to prove us wrong, really. I want you to hear that one more time too. 22-second mark. I'm going to go to 20 seconds.
3 o'clock in Utah time, which is 2 o'clock Pacific, 5 o'clock Eastern. Janet,
sorry,
go.
I paused, and then there's the cheering, and you think about the report that we were seeing. It's been confirmed that he's been shot. That's about roughly 7 seconds after that first initial Charlie Kirk's dead. Like, I just can't believe these people. These people are demons. They're devils. So I went to TMZ, not that I think that they're going to report on anything on their TMZ page or an apology. They would have to do it as one of those videos and they'd be coming out with their tail between their legs, honestly. And those people, he'd have to fire those people. And I think that that's the issue. Maybe there's some people high up that actually think that way. Do you still really want to? Are you okay with working next to these people? Are the other people in the office that work there okay with working next to these roughly, let's say, 3 to 5 people that cheered Charlie Kirk's death? the moment it basically happened. So I was scrolling through just to see what they're reporting on. And yeah, like there's a bit of the Jimmy Kimmel stuff in there and, you know, a couple of other just ridiculous, stupid posts and stuff. But then I came across this and I actually thought this was kind of funny because I wonder if he was going to get up on stage, but he pulled an appearance at the Fast Company's Innovation Festival in New York. So he was going to make an appearance there. And it makes me wonder whether or not, and the reason why he didn't make the appearance is because he heard the news of Jimmy Kimmel being suspended. And I wonder whether or not he didn't get up there because his monologue was going to be very similar and parroting the same bullshit lie that it was a Republican. And, you know, the Republicans have steeped to a new low and they're saying that it was the left and they're trying to make it seem like it wasn't a Republican, wasn't one of their own. Like the lies and the evil that's been exposed through this. I hope people are actually waking up and actually truly seeing this bullshit for what it is. But I did think that was funny that he pulled that. So just a little bonus there. But yeah, what do you think about the whole TMZ thing? Please go and listen to this video, 22-second minute mark, and take a listen and let me know what you think is being cheered out there. But also too, this hold him to his words. He said that those people cheering wouldn't do that. And like I said, if I go here, there are people that have done full breakdowns. Where is it? I don't know. But there are people that have done full breakdowns of it. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Don't let them get away with this. Speak truth to error, and let's keep pushing forward. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Later, guys.